Hello,
Mhm.
we're here. A human experience is an intersection of a few things. It's almost an edge, but I like intersection to use like the cross terminology. It's an intersection between that which is mystery or we cannot name, that is beyond form, beyond name, and that which is so form that it feels like it's only form, like material. So material reality, our bodies where we say I have a hand or whatever. And the human experience is right on the edge of those two. It's this incredible crest of a wave, as some people have described it. And so that's a little context to think of it as it's the human, which is the crest of a wave, which is the edge, the intersection, asking, what is my purpose? So that's where we start. The function that we just see, which is that it's an intersection. And so if we look in our lives at the places in which we're intersections, that's where we see the purpose. You can think of it like stoplights. The stoplight has a purpose because it's at an intersection, because it's intersecting things. And we're not stoplights. We're more than stoplights, but we're like the stoplight, the crosswalk, the people walking by, all those things at the intersection. And it's a really special place to be, as the Buddha talks about it. To be born as a human is a very, very exciting opportunity for just conscious experience. And so for a person to say, what is my purpose? Well, first, to understand yourself in context. In context, you are an intersection. You're at an intersection point and points along your life. But as a dance perspective, you're at an intersection point in the dance between that which we cannot name, the Tao that cannot be named is not the Tao, and the 10,000 things in Taoism, or the world, just the world of material reality, the body, the mind, even. It depends on who you're talking to. But the purpose comes from when we appreciate our intersection and say, what are the conditions that made this intersection possible? So, from a spiritual perspective, everything's an intersection. So, your purpose is right now. Your purpose is here right now. But if you could zoom out a little bit, adjust the lens a little bit, and say, okay, but I'm asking, like, what is the 50 millimeter on the lens? Like, I'm asking as a human with a 75-year, 85-year, maybe 200-year, I don't know, lifespan, what's my purpose? That that comes to, I think it's important to focus on, adjust the lens onto the things that are not necessarily moment to moment, but on the intersections that you see over the course of your life. You see intersections of things that were harmful to you, intersections of things that were beneficial. You see the areas where you enjoyed things. All of these intersecting waves, so to speak, come together to make the crest that is you, the very top of the wave that meets the skyline. And so the purpose is given, but you're just here already. But the it really comes through when, as you appreciate you go into the intersection point and you look at it really closely, then you adjust your lens, and then it comes into focus. And it takes a to use the continue using the metaphor, an ability to adjust the lens as you're also looking, just like a photographer. And so I would say to adjust the lens are your daily practices that allow you to modulate how close into your life you're looking. Are you always looking at the number one thing happening right now that is really urgent? Or are you super zoomed out and everything in my life is perfect and it's all good? And it's not necessarily that either of those are wrong. Obviously, they're both right. But it's a question of modulating the dial that allows you to focus just in the right way to see what is a human's purpose in their lifespan. Your generational experiences, your childhood, what you envision for your adulthood, how you were treated by your parents, how you would parent. So it's important to be willing to envision yourself in parts of your life that you may not, the ego identified, or just the person who identifies as just today or this week may not always be willing to, but I think that's important if you want to be willing to open to the bigger intersection, because the intersection goes beyond what we can just see with our eyes every day. The intersection is huge. So I think there's infinite possibilities to answer that question, but the I think it does come to modulating the lens with which you're looking at it, and really get good at modulating the lens. It becomes very simple to see what your purpose is. The purpose is not something we find. The purpose is something that we are allowed to see when the circumstances align themselves. So it's really a question of alignment, but it reveals itself to you as you're ready, always. No question about it.